Good evening, citizens of Portsmouth. I want to welcome you to our public work session today, November 25th. Also, I want to welcome those who are following us online. I want to acknowledge the presence of our city staff who is here with us today and all of our invited guests. Recognize Mr. Carter, who is our city manager, Mr. Derek Challenger, our interim city attorney, and of course our clerk, Ms. Deborah White. Also want to acknowledge with us today in our legislative session is Delegate Cliff Hayes. Thank you for being here, Delegate Hayes. I see we have a few that are not here yet, but may be arriving. But with that, I will continue on. Madam Clerk,
Yes, sir.
would you please call the roll?
Sure. Ms. Bryant.
Present.
Dr. Dodson.
Present.
Mr. Hugo.
Present.
Mr. Moody.
Here.
Ms. Thomas.
Here.
Mr. Tillett.
Here.
Mayor Glover.
Here. Mr. Carter, sure. I will now turn the meeting over to you.
Thank you, Mayor. We only have one item that we're going to discuss this evening, and that is our legislative initiatives. Ms. Sherry Neal has a presentation that she will go through and update us on where we are with that. Ms. Neal, when you're ready.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, Mayor Glover, Vice Mayor Moody, members of council, city manager, staff, honored guests. This evening, on behalf of the Portsmouth City Council Legislative Advisory Committee, I'm here to share with you our recommendations for the 2026 State General Assembly legislative package. Right. Oh. What am I doing?
This is
Okay, can't see it. Thank you. Sorry, we're having technical difficulties. One moment, please.
There you go, this way.
Okay, just click this in here. So we have 5 state legislative initiatives. We have 6 budget amendment requests. I have a few state public policy statements that's included in this presentation that we support and oppose. A few important dates and next steps, and then questions and answers. So to looking at the legislative initiatives, the first one is a request to have the city of Portsmouth added to the Virginia Code section 15.2-2286. And that would provide an extra tool in the city's zoning toolbox to allow the city the ability to impose conditions upon any special exception or use permit relating to retail alcohol beverage control licenses, which provides that such special exception or use permit will automatically expire upon the change of ownership of the property, a change in possession, a change in the operation or management of a facility, or the passage of a specific period of time. The cities of Hampton and Newport, Hampton and Norfolk have already been given, how did I get there? Have already been given this authority. And so on this one, we're simply asking the city of Portsmouth to be added to that section of the code as well. The next item on there is, well, the next 4 basically to assist our police department statewide. And
Yes.
the legislation allowing retired law enforcement officers to be able to execute temporary detention orders and emergency custody orders. This is also supported by the Virginia Municipal League, Virginia First Cities, and it would help to free up our officers from having to sit with people for long periods of time in the hospitals and so forth when they are under these particular orders. The third bullet is also public safety, and it's an effort to deal with gun violence in not only just our city but statewide. So this is creating a Class 2 misdemeanor violation for the act of leaving firearms in unlocked vehicles. This year, Virginia First Cities, along with the University of Virginia, conducted a gun violence workshop. So this is a issue statewide, and also the JLOC, Joint Legislative Audit and Review Commission, is supposed to be bringing out a report in December on gun violence in Commonwealth of Virginia. So it's a big issue statewide, not only just in Portsmouth. The next issue is legislation amending the current photo enforcement authority specifically for stoplight and speed infractions to address the increase in business day reviews of violations from 10 to 30 days. This is a parity issue. Currently, the police have at least 30 days to review infractions dealing with school buses. And when it comes to the stoplights or the speed infractions, the code only provides them 10 days. So what they're asking for is to have it increased to 30 days so that there would be parity there, possibly giving them more time to review these films. And the last, but so it goes along also with the first one, which is legislation to authorize trained special conservators of the peace and technicians that are employed by localities to review and certify photo and video traffic violations. Again, helping our police department who are often short-staffed and overtasked. And so this would help them to be able to more efficiently and effectively deal with these videos. I'm going to pause here for a minute to see if there are any questions on any of these, and to let you know that being that pre-filing began on the 17th of this month, I was able to speak with our delegation members. Good evening, Speaker Scott. I spoke with our delegation members, and I have secured sponsors for several of these items. There are two that we don't have sponsors for yet, which is the legislation creating a Class 2 misdemeanor and the legislation that's going to increase the time from 10 to 30 days for reviewing these violations. Comments, questions, nothing there? Mayor?
Councilman Dodson, sir. you have the floor.
Dawson?
I'm very impressed by the briefings that you've already given us to bring us up to speed on this and to develop professionally a final version for submission. It's been a wonderful experience this year. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
Excuse me, Ms. Neal, on behalf of the council, I want to welcome Speaker Scott.
Thank you.
Welcome to the meeting, man.
Thank you for having me. I was just looking at something before you paused. Can you go back to item number 1?
Yes, that was the first one we spoke of.
What's the issue there? Are you trying to have permission to allow change was it the automatic expiration?
So as I understand it, Mayor, Speaker
You have the
Scott,
floor, man.
Speaker Scott, as I understand it, the city is looking for another tool in their toolbox to be able to deal with these special use permits. The cities of Norfolk and Hampton have already been given this authority, and so basically we're just asking for the same authority to deal with imposing conditions upon special exceptions or use permits related to retail alcoholic beverage control licenses, which provides that such special exception of the use permit will automatically expire upon the change of ownership of the property, a change in possession, a change in the operation or management of a facility, or the passage of a specific period of time.
You have that legislation that's already enacted, just trying to add Portsmouth to it.
Yes,
Can you send me the bill, the code section when the time?
yes, it's 15.2-2286.
Can you send me the patron of that bill when it passed, the original?
Oh, the original? Okay, sure.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. Okay. Nothing else? We'll move on forward.
Please.
The budget amendment request. So we have 6 requests here on this page. The first one is the $16 million for phases 1 and 2 of the Prentice Street Transmission Project. That particular one, phase 1, was in our 2025 legislative package. We had received $4.5 million to do that phase of the project, which was vetoed by the governor. So we're putting it back in again, and along with requesting funding to go towards phase 2 as well. There's a $17 million ask for a new housing resource center, $4.25 million for sanitary sewer pump station rehabilitation. This is a second request. We were rewarded $4.25 in this last session, and I think it took 5 stations were done, and so this is for the next 5. There's $4 million request for the court system security infrastructure project. That's for the Portsmouth courthouse. The infrastructure, the security infrastructure there is over 10 years old. and it severely needs to be updated, the technical, to make it more safe for everyone there. 1.2 million for the lead service inventory line, enhancement for lead service line replacement program, and then the final one is to amend the budget language that to allow more time for reimbursement of expenditures regarding the new city jail renovation project. Any questions on any of those?
So I have a question in terms of the priority. I mean, I know you've listed these here, but is there a ranking? What's the most important, second, third? Is this the actual priority order? Or is this just a list?
It's listed in the amounts for the money, but what is most important, I would leave that to...
So it is listed in rank order.
Right.
Highest priority at the top, lowest priority at the bottom.
And phase one had been approved before and the governor vetoed it, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I feel confident that we can get that back in. But we look at the other things. I'm really concerned about the port system security program as well. So we'll take a look at it. I think we'll follow up with you all, see what we can get done. Senator Lucas may have a word to say as well. But we've been able to do a lot.
Yes, you have.
People are probably wondering what the heck is going on down here. But I think we can do a little bit more this cycle, depending on what we look like, revenue projections for the state, which we look okay right now.
Thank you. Yeah.
If I could, I'd like to acknowledge our Senator Jordan, who has just arrived. Welcome to the city of Portsmouth, ma'am.
Glad to be here.
Welcome. Thank you.
You have the floor.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you. Senator Jordan, welcome. Glad to see you. And Speaker Scott, yes, we've done a lot. We appreciate all of what you've done. Our delegation, Delegate Hayes. Senator Lucas, unfortunately, was not able to join us this evening due to an emergency that turned up. But she has definitely been a champion for the city of Portsmouth and a lot of things that we've been asking for.
Well, if I may, I recall having a conversation with Speaker Scott, and one of the things that he had recommended is that, he needed to see more of us, and we needed to be more definitive on what our needs were, and we needed to be forthright and coming forward and not waiting and getting things in front of them. So I appreciate the guidance on that, because I think we have done a better job with our legislative committee and really focusing on how we work collaboratively together. Also want to acknowledge the work that our manager, Mr. Carter, did, because I know you spent some time up there with the speaker in his office and Senator Lucas as well. So it's really about us continuing on the same way that we've been going in the past. I think we have come a long way. We've done a lot of things on behalf of the support that we've gotten from the General Assembly, and we're a grateful community as a result of that. Ma'am, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mayor. Senator Jordan, I know did you have a chance to go through, did you have any, before I move any forward, on the legislation or budget amendments?
If you don't have anyone taking the TDO issue, I can take that, and I can also take, if you want, the special use permits.
So on the TDOs and the special use permit, yes, we do have sponsors. On the two that I don't have a sponsor for is the legislation creating the Class 2 misdemeanor for gun and unlocked car.
Can't take that
I
one.
understand. And the other one is legislation amending the current photo enforcement authority. For right now, the problem is that for school bus infractions, they have 30 days to review, but for these, they only have 10 days, so it's a parity issue. So that's why they were asking, the police department's asking, not just the police department, but statewide.
Sheriff, if I could stop real quick and ask the speaker, I think he probably would know. I think Leader Herring is going to open this back up, so if she's going to do that, could she make that change?
I think this issue is going to be dealt with. I don't know which way it's going to
Okay.
fall, but I think there's a lot of legislation that's going to
Okay.
deal with this issue.
But
So someone will open it up.
Someone will deal with that issue. I'm not sure about the firearms and unlocked vehicles. I think that issue, that bill was passed, or something similar to it. I got to go back and look, and I think it was vetoed.
Marsden had it.
Yeah, Morrison, it was vetoed. I think it'll probably come back this time.
Okay. On the two that you said that you would be interested in, would you be a co-sponsor?
I can carry it or be a co-sponsor, whichever you prefer.
Okay, we appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have anything else, Senator?
I'll wait till we get to budget amendments.
Well, we were there when you came in.
All right.
So,
16 million additional for phase 1 and 2 for Prentice Street. I know we did the 6 million, I think it was last year.
that's the one that we got passed and then it was vetoed.
Okay. I can do that again if
You
you
want to do
like.
that one again? Thank you. Any of the others that you're interested in?
I want to see, I don't know what the budget's going to look like. There's a lot to be done, but there may be some grant money, I think, for the LSL issue. I received from another locality that they had talked with VACO that they're going to do a full inventory across the Commonwealth and try to move some of the inspection piece to VDH to be able to kind of hasten that response, because there's a ton of localities, Portsmouth's one of them, that aren't compliant with making sure that they're up to date on that. And I think that there may be some language coming in regard to that. So I can look into that, but I think this might solve itself. Maybe not with the money, but buying you some time.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Neal?
Good?
And we'll follow with you prior to session. As we get closer to session, we have a pretty good idea. The governor presents on the budget committees. You'll have some time to kind of understand where we are. So the governor proposed his outgoing budget, which is
Outgoing.
outgoing. So he'll propose his fairy tale budget. And then we'll with the House and the Senate, we'll come up with the real budget. As we
I
move forward.
understand. Thank you, Speaker. Mayor.
Ms. Neal?
All right, moving forward. So we have a few stated public policy positions. I'm not going to read them all. Everybody received the PowerPoint, so you got a chance to go through them. I'll just highlight the first one, the 599 program. Of course, that's something that all of the localities that have police departments support. Virginia Municipal League, VACO, as well as Virginia First City. So, and then I will also point to the second one for the JLOC and putting all the JLOC recommendations in for the K-12 public schools education. For the opposed ones, I would...
May I ask a question?
Sure.
On the 599 program, I've followed this for the years I've been on council, and it seems that there hasn't been any dedicated funding toward that program. Is that just something that, is it an exercise we just go through? Is there something real that could really happen with that? I don't.
That was $599 money in the budget last cycle.
Right, it was.
And the governor took it out.
Okay.
All right, we'll go back and take a look at it again. There is definitely dedicated money for $599. It's a statutory program. We don't have a lot of. It's kind of like Medicaid. It's a flow through. It's an administrative flow through amount of money. So it's real. But there's some parameters on it. But I feel confident that this year that we'll take a look at it. The second item on JLOC's recommendations, I don't know about that. That's a huge number. The schools have been chronically underfunded. That's what JLOC found.
Yeah.
The schools have been chronically underfunded for years, decades.
Yeah, decades.
So I'm not sure we're going to be able to get us back to the level that it needs to be in one fell swoop. But I think if you take a look at what we've done over the last couple of cycles, we've had historic funding in public school education. And I think we'll be able to continue to be in that range. But we'll see. I think this budget, because of some of the things that are going on in the country with the implementation of some federal pass downs, basically they're just pushing it down to states to pay for Medicaid. So Medicaid is going to be becoming, I guarantee you're going to look at our budget this year, you're going to see a much larger chunk of dollars used to supplement Medicaid,
Especially with the subsidies.
the feds cut it, and so the state's going to have to pick it up. So we're going to figure out where we pay for that from. That's going to be a huge fight, because we got to take care of our most vulnerable regarding health care.
There's three things to piggyback on what the speaker said. On 599, when I was in the House, actually, the House position at that point was very supportive of 599.
Right.
When it got over to the Senate before I went to that body, the Senate had a different kind of position when they went through negotiation, and they put about $50 million in instead that cycle into crisis stabilization. It was a Janet Howell priority, I believe, if you guys recall. And so that kind of stepped back a little bit, that 599 funding, just so you know the historical perspective there. Two, when it comes to the JLARC 2023 study, while that's great, one of the biggest things that we have to do, especially in this part of Virginia, not that I speak ill often of NOVA, but we have to figure out how to really tackle the composite index in the Commonwealth and make sure that our part of Virginia is getting their fair share. We just sat through our respective finance retreats, and I have some sneaking suspicion that Northern Virginia is playing with some numbers on getting more funds this year because they were showing a major loss, which does not make sense to me. I think Servo was saying it had something to do with commercial property vacancy, but I don't see that. And so LCI is something we need to address head on before I think we get to this step to make sure that we're getting the fair money for a city like Portsmouth.
And I'm sure, hopefully the school board understands, and hopefully you guys too, that LCI is huge. So hopefully y'all can take a look at what's going into that formula, because making sure that we get it, that we understand what's, I'm gonna say it like this, make sure that we understand what's going into that formula.
No, it's true.
And also what he said on Medicaid, in December of 24 last year, we had a report come out that we'd asked for years ago from the House perspective from the Joint Commission on Healthcare. It found that our CSBs were not doing their full billing. They were maybe between 35 and 60 some percent. And they have billable federal Medicaid services. They were not billing like they should have been.
Right.
And so there's going to be some compliance that DMAS and DBHDS and other agencies are trying to get into the infancy of enforcing that, because it's already our money. They should have been billing it so we can pull that federal money down.
Right.
Because the state's on the hook for that if they're not doing that. And so that was in December of 24. And so we're getting into a phase, hopefully, to get some of that money and get that billing up to make sure that the House and the Senate don't have to make up that loss.
Very good. In terms of the healthcare situation, I know I've been following this, and from the federal level, certainly, if subsidies go away, a number of our citizens, probably 500,000, I know when we passed the legislation to make sure that we provided healthcare to our vulnerable folks, there's a big number of people that are going to be impacted if that doesn't go through. And as the speaker said, of course, somebody's going to have to pick up the bill, right? And that's a huge bill. Is there anything that we can do from a locality perspective to help or support? I know it's not all put together yet, but we want to be proactive as well as you all and supportive and things that we can do at a local level, if that's advocacy, if that's calling folks, whatever that is, we want to be proactive. So I just wanted to throw it out there.
Absolutely. I don't think it hurts to be a part of the chorus that's letting everybody know how bad this is on the localities and right on the ground. So as a locality, we think it's a great thing if you let your voices be heard individually, but also you all are a part of VML. And so I can't think of a locality that's happy what's going on. So in terms of VML, working through those channels to make sure that, that message gets out loud and clear.
And some of the triggers don't take place until after the midterms next year. And then there's going to be the part of the deal to open the government back up. That was guaranteed to be a vote on the subsidies, extending the premium. So we'll see what happens with that. We may end up having some interim solutions while they probably figure out long term what they're going to do. And I think that's likely to happen, considering politicians usually act in their self-interest, and they're all on the ballot in November. So maybe they'll figure that out. It's probably not a good deal to end all the subsidies prior to next November 26th. So they may come up with a solution.
And Mayor, I would also say that DSSs usually have a line item for TANF. Right. So if there is some gap funding issues in between a loss in service and, like, say a pickup or a start date, if there's something that they've applied through a different line item, I think TANF could fill some of the gap for that.
Okay. Well, I think we'll just have to stay tuned and follow that development, because it's critically important. Any other questions from
Another thing I was going to say, with the new governor coming in, y'all should be advocating. I know I have. We had Portsmouth was without a lead person for the Department of Health first.
Yeah.
And so, and we probably still are without one. We have been asking, pushing, I don't know if it's what's going on there, but I know the new administration coming in is a priority because we have a better relationship, and it's a high priority for them to look out for Portsmouth, and looking for all the citizens, but the fact that we haven't had one for a while has hurt us. And that's part of their job, is to go out and educate the community and bring services to communities like they do, mobile, blood pressure screenings, mobile delivery of vaccinations. There are things that they were doing that they can do that it helps improve their health for all of us. And so I'm hopeful that we can, if you want to help, a letter from the city council, from the mayor saying that, to the new governor-elect, that this is something that we hope that's a priority for you to do as fast as possible. Not putting anybody on the spot, but just saying, hey, we've been without that for this length of time. We hope that you can make that a priority to hire that role and to hire the staff. Not only do they not have a lead, they got a lot of staff shortages in that area. And for a city like us not to have those dollars allocated to help us, the professional staff, it's shameful.
Well, I agree with you 100%. It's a two-pronged issue for me. It's not only shameful, it's not right. It's not fair. I just sent out an editorial to all my colleagues on council about the impact of that particular issue, not having that health department lead, but more importantly, how it impacts the health of our community. Our maternal health is suffering in our city as a result of some decisions that were made, and that's not going to stand. We do have a meeting with our healthcare providers, and as a part of that, we were talking about putting our healthcare coalition together. I shared that with our council folks, and so that's what's going to happen. We will follow up with a letter to the governor. We will also governor-elect, right? Governor-elect.
I don't think the governor. He's out.
Right. The governor-elect. Right. That's the governor-elect is who we're going to.
And this is what I was going. I'm getting this off. We get back to this, but I think it would be helpful in light of that situation. Whenever the new Secretary of Health is named, hopefully that person will be named in the next week or so. We probably need to have a follow-up conversation. And I'm happy to do that in conjunction with you and the team here to bring them in to Portsmouth and have a sit down and talk about where we are and what the next steps are. So hold me to that, and we'll try to make that happen as soon as that person is sworn in. So once they're announced, we can probably get it on the calendar for January after the governor's sworn in on the 17th of January. We can try to do it sometime right after that on a weekend or something like that. That way they don't have to leave Richmond. They can come out down on Richmond on a weekend day.
Very good. And the last thing on that, I'll send you all a copy of the letter, the editorial that I share with my colleagues, because I think it's very important that we all speak at the same
time. From the Coast Guard, the lady who worked in the Coast Guard, who retired from the Coast Guard. Yeah, well, I saw that editorial.
Did you?
Yeah, we've been.
We're having a conversation.
No, it's another time because we've been pushing on this issue for a while and it's just been ignored. And thank God we have elections. That's all I can say. Go ahead.
Okay, we're going to follow through with that. Ms. Neal, go ahead.
It was a very engaging conversation.
Yes. It's important. That's important.
Yes, it is.
The health of our community is extremely important.
Thank you. And then moving on to a few of our opposition statements. The one that I would really point out is any acquisition of the Virginia International Gateway by the Virginia Port Authority or the Commonwealth without providing adequate compensation to the city of Portsmouth for lost tax revenues. It's a big one.
What is that amount?
I'm sorry?
What is that amount?
It's like over $50 million, I believe, isn't it?
I don't remember off the top of my head. Do you have that idea?
$9 million a year.
$9 million a year.
It wasn't, but that was still under.
Just trying to get us more.
Right. So,
Big thinking.
Thank you. And then again, of course, any unfunded state mandates we do oppose as well. And any efforts by the state to usurp or preempt any local land use authority. And of course, any initiatives that phase out or eliminate sources of revenue to cities, counties, and towns without a firm commitment of ongoing, reliable, and recurring general fund resources to offset lost local revenues.
Sound like car tax. But anyway, that's what I heard.
So just moving on to the next steps. Of course, I already spoke about the 17th was pre-filing began. Tonight, after this meeting, This city council is scheduled to adopt by resolutions both our state and federal packages. On the 17th, as the speaker mentioned, the governor is going to present his final budget for the biennium. Moving into January, the 14th is when the session begins. Our internal committee for legislative purposes is going to come together again on the 29th, so I can brief and update them on what's going on so far with our package and other items of interest for the city. And then on the 5th of February is Vietnam Local Government Day. And with that, that's what I have. Any questions? Further? Dialogue?
I do have a question. Along the way, there was some discussion around whether or not the city was doing a study on the tolls. And there was an inquiry about how we felt about the matter.
Mayor Glover, yes. Delegate Hayes, there was some conversations that we had with Dr. Cook about having another study done. And if I may, Mayor, do you have any updates on that?
Not at the moment.
Oh, crap.
It's still a work in progress. Any other discussion, questions, answers?
Can I say something what I'm hearing? I think I've already addressed this with a couple of folks here. I've been getting a lot of feedback from small business owners, mostly African American, that they're getting bullied by the city. They're not getting any assistance. They're just being told that you violated something and you need to go. And I know that may not be the case. I'm just giving y'all what I'm hearing. And so I think it's important. I've talked to folks about hiring a navigator, somebody who can help folks interact with the city, because sometimes some of these folks, they do what they do, but they're not good at engaging with the city and frankly following up on some of the things they may need to do with the city to stay in compliance. They probably thinking, I pay my taxes, I'm okay. There's more to that. And hopefully, as we move forward, because I see some of the things that you have as initiatives in here about land, about ownership, management, to prevent, some businesses from continuing to operate without the city having a say after that transfer, and that's okay. I'm hopeful that the city will take those complaints seriously, because I'm hearing from, I've had several meetings with folks. It's not just one or two, it's several, and it's been going on for a while. It's just bubbled up recently, because I got some more vocal people that have come to me that I've known for a while.
That's how it's gonna go.
But I'm hopeful that the city will take a look at that. There are folks in the community that believe, and I'm not saying that's true, small business owners in the community that believe that the city is trying to shut them down for the benefit of the casino. And I don't know if that's true or not. I don't go to the casino except for functions. I love the casino, but I don't go in there to gamble. But people have brought it to me that there have been fights and incidents at the casino and nobody tries to shut them down. So if they have a fight or an incident in the parking lot at their establishment, the city tries to come and shut them down. So I'm just asking for us to have a conversation around fairness. And I'm happy I'm bringing it here now but I'm happy to go offline and you can brief me and bring me up to date on what's happened, because I'm hearing it from one side. I'm happy to hear some more details from the city from the other side. But that is a community sentiment that is taking hold that I hope that we can address. And I'd love to see y'all hire a navigator to deal with some of these folks that have some of these nightlife navigator to be able to deal with some of the issues that pop up in cooperation with law enforcement and public safety leadership.
Thank you, sir. But I will say, we appreciate the information and the guidance. This council, and I will speak on behalf of this council, we do not have any intent to single out or do anything to any group or person. And we have an open policy where individuals can come and speak to us prior to whatever they engage in or what they want to do as a business. I think we've been very forthright and transparent in that process. So we welcome a conversation. If there's a conversation to be had, but we are always going to err on the side of taking care of the whole community. And that's the commitment of this council.
All right.
Thank you.
That's it?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If I may,
That is-
I don't want to steal your thunder, Mayor.
No, the thunder's all gone. It's your
But
floor,
At this
man.
time, I'd like to see if our delegation have any insights they want to bring to us about the upcoming General Assembly session, things that we should be aware of and alert of. You have the floor.
The only thing I have to say is, we always follow the money, right? And as the speaker has mentioned, the governor will propose, and then as we go into the next session,
General Assembly does vote.
we will depose. And so we start all over, pretty much. It is an introduction, but I sense from appropriation side, on the House side, that there's going to be some starting over, if you will.
Nothing.
I was just going to finish up on the maternal health issue. I think that we've got a statewide issue on that. I delved into that last year, and I think long-term, we're going to have a serious conversation with the new Secretary of Health and the governor. When we approve COPN applications, it has to come with an understanding that they can't be
Correct.
chopping labor and
That's
delivery
exactly right.
services left and right.
That's
Because,
exactly right.
we're worried about a profit center to our people, and we have to walk that back. If they want to do business in this Commonwealth, then they need to be serving all people.
Thank you, Senator Jordan. I couldn't echo that more because, right now you can't deliver a baby in the city of Portsmouth.
And that's
A city of
unconscionable.
almost 100,000 people, that's not acceptable. It's not acceptable. And that's what I was saying, we have to look at the way we put these these certificates of public need and all that stuff. There has to be some stipulations that keep them locked in, because without that, they're going to play the political game and do what they do. But that's another story, but I agree with you 100%.
So I want to add one other thing on that issue. We started a maternal health task force last year, Omnibus. We introduced a lot of bills.
Yes.
Try to continue to prove that one of the things that we have not been able to tackle is the COPN issue. We didn't get here in a day. We didn't get here in a year. This took years to get where we are.
No, it's true.
We're trying to unpeel this onion right now to figure out how the heck did we get it to a place where a city like Portsmouth no longer has OBGYN services to be able to deliver babies. And from what I've talked to from our largest provider here, it's just super expensive. They're having a very difficult time. I mean, it is what it is. It is super expensive. We need to have a conversation with them so we can really understand what it is, what their challenges, and are there some incentives or a package of incentives that we can put in place to get them where they need to feel comfortable that they won't, this won't be a loss leader for them. At the end of the day, we need them to be successful. We need them to we have a model where they have to be profitable. That's our healthcare model, that they have to be able to make ends meet. So we need to have a blunt conversation with them in partnership with the city and the legislature so we can get them in a position where they can work with the city. And I don't think we're there yet, but I think we can get there. But I think it's going to require some really rolling up the sleeves and having a very, very, very tough conversation. The Commonwealth last year, we allocated over $88 billion. We have a huge budget. Portsmouth did very well over the last couple of years. We've done well over close to $200 million in budget items, which is unheard of in a short amount of time for the city of Portsmouth. I don't know if we're going to get there again, but we're there now, and I think we're in a good place. I think some of these initiatives that y'all have in place are very, very well thought out. Since I've been here, and I've only been elected since 2020, so this will probably starting my 7th session. This is like the last cycle, and this cycle are the 2 best cycles that I've working with the city of Portsmouth and understanding your priorities and where y'all want it to be. And so it makes it really easy for us to identify your needs and put them in the queue. You know what I mean? So we had some things in the queue last time. We got them passed. One was vetoed. That goes back to the front of the queue for us. We'll get that. I feel confident we'll get that done. There's some other items in here that we have to figure out where they fit in the overall strategy. And we're looking at what the revenues are for the state. We'll get that this year. We'll get that next month from the governor. We have some indication right now where we are. Once we see where our revenues are, see what the Medicaid impacts will be for the year, see what we anticipate. Both Senate appropriations and House appropriations have a more, more realistic view of where we are with the economy. They expect some shortfalls. The governor's given a presentation that he believes that will a more rosier outlook. We'll see where he comes in with his budget, and then we'll take a look at that. And as Delegate Hayes says, we kind of start over. You know, we kind of look at what he says. We may look at his revenue. We may look at his spending, and then we kind of take those numbers and reallocate where that goes, and we'll do that. And then we'll come back and meet with y'all. I think it was very helpful last year. I think the mayor came up last year and a couple other folks. I think it was very helpful. The city manager came up to kind of keep us on track, keeping track where you are. I think the squeaky wheel gets the oil in this business. And so hopefully folks will continue to keep on pace, because that helps us make the argument. Like, our people coming in, we need to make sure that we looking out for them. So hopefully y'all will come in, meet with the senator, meet with Delegate Hayes, meet with Senator Lucas, and hopefully keep us all on track and help us tell the story to the rest of the General Assembly. Portsmouth has been neglected for a while. It's time for us to be able to help shore up some of these infrastructure issues. And I think y'all have identified the right things that we need. And with that,
Mr. Carter, sir, you have the floor.
First of all, thank you guys. Naturally, thank you for taking time out today to come and spend some time with us. Two things. One is on the maternal health issue. As I've started to look into this, we've been in this situation where we are where we can't, or women can't have babies in Portsmouth for some time now. We're passing the 5-year point on that. We're getting to the point now where there's going to be a whole generation of people that was not born in Portsmouth. And I think that's really something to say if you think about that. A whole generation of people that won't have any births in Portsmouth. But the other thing, what I really want to ask you was, what is it that you need from us? Let me know when you need me to come. I'll do whatever I got to do to get there. If there's something else that we can do to accelerate this, move this forward, let me know. And we're willing to do what's necessary to make it happen.
I would say, unlike, the other localities, this window that we have right now with the leadership at the General Assembly is very unique. And we shouldn't take that for granted. And I don't think any other locality will look at what's been happening and be curious about why. I think they'll all recognize where this leadership is and just say that's what you expect from a city with that leadership.
on the maternal health thing, I think we got to think outside the box. We'll need some public-private partnership. It's not going to be a government solution. And so we got to start thinking outside the box. I've already begun to talk to manufacturers and others. We got to, that's why we got, I'm on, there's some things in the works, but we got to have a convening to see what people's appetite are. But we got to, it's not going to, the state can't make it happen. It's going to be the state plus. It's going to be state plus the city. It's going to be, definitely have to be some for-profit providers as well as some non-profit foundations. We need a combination of folks to make this happen. So I think we got to start thinking outside the box if we're serious about getting this fixed. So that's
I'm serious about getting this fixed. I think this is
it's going to take a public-private partnership to make it happen. That's the only way it's going to happen.
It's a very large rural and urban issue that we've known for a while.
right.
Speaker's been diligent on the rural health care piece, and it's, urban setting issue as well.
It's going to take a minute. I know it didn't get here overnight. It's not going to get out of this overnight. But I just want to call attention to the fact that there's going to be a whole generation where there's no Portsmouth first.
And just so the citizens know, we are already engaged in that process with our providers. We've met with the local leadership in the healthcare industry on both sides of the water. We understand, too, to Mr. Speaker's point, it is going to take us thinking out of the box with different types of birthing options, right? Bringing in different players to the table that we haven't had in the past. And they're reaching out as well. So we're going to engage. We're going to get full in. I'm not going to single out my two lady council persons, but they're intimately involved and want to be heading up that effort. So I expect that you are going to be hearing a lot more because they have a voice, and we all plan to use it.
Forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you. So if that's, do you have anything else, Sharon?
So just in closing, I just wanted to thank the City Council for all of your support and your help throughout this whole legislative session. I want to thank my committee members, my internal committee members, for all of what y'all have done to make this what it is today and moving us forward. I want to thank our city manager for all of his support. I definitely want to thank my delegation members that are present and those who's not present for all of your support and your input, and as well as your professional staff that I could not do without. And I thank you for all of your help, and happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Ms. Neal, for your leadership, and if I may, I want to acknowledge once again, thank you, Speaker Scott, Senator Jordan, and Delegate Hayes. We can't get the work done without you. Also want to acknowledge our legislative committee, Mr. Tillage and Mr. Hugel, and everybody on council for all of the input that you have provided. We look forward to continued success as we move forward. And if there's anything that we can do at the local level in support of your efforts, please let us know. Thank you. Thank you. And happy Thanksgiving to you.
Happy Thanksgiving.
And tell Senator Lucas we hope she feels better soon.
I will. My daughter's birthday. I came here on my daughter's birthday.
Oh, wow. Happy birthday. Look.
Might want to take a 5-minute break.
Yeah, let's take a 5-minute break. Then we'll reconvene. Okay, we call the meeting back to order, and Manager Carter, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mayor. The only thing I have left is the overview. Tonight we have a couple of public hearings. First is proposed citywide code amendment for the Chesapeake Preservation Area Overlay District. This amendment brings our ordinance into alignment with state requirements by incorporating climate change and sea level rise impact assessment into project reviews within our resource protection areas. The Planning Commission recommends approval on that one. The second one is a public hearing concerning a use permit request in the Fairville neighborhood for a proposed drug and alcohol treatment facility on Royal Street. Planning Commission has recommended denial, and this hearing gives the community and the council an opportunity to provide some input before further action. For the city manager's report, we have 19 items, 15 ordinances, and 4 resolutions. Across these actions, City will consider a range of appropriations, grants, and policy approvals that support work across social services, courts, public utilities, fire, rescue, and behavioral health services. In summary, items include a donation to social services, funding for judicial personnel bonuses, a settlement for water system testing, a state grant for dam safety engineering at Lake Kilby, hazmat reimbursements, and several BHS appropriations supporting peer services, supporting supportive housing, workforce development, and major facility repairs. Collectively, these actions reflect over $5 million in external or designated funding coming into the city. The report also has 4 resolutions: an adoption of the Emergency Operations Plan, authorizations to reconvey stormwater pond properties associated with the MLK extension, and the approval of city's 2026 legislative package, which we just talked about. There are several items related to the Portsmouth school systems. All involve reappropriation of previously approved but unspent FY25 funds for FY26. These reappropriations include Food Services Fund, Portsmouth General Fund, Portsmouth Grants Fund, Risk Management Fund, and the Textbook Fund. In total, these actions in total for these actions is approximately $30 million in carryover funding that Portsmouth will continue to use in the current fiscal year. That concludes their overview and my report this evening.
Thank you, Manager Carter. With any questions? Councilman Hugel.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. So similarly to what we did last month, I would propose to my colleagues that we bundle all of the city manager report items, move to bundle and vote those items as one item, and then take that one vote as a consent agenda.
That's also known as the Moody bundle. I'll never let y'all forget this. Even when I'm gone.
Trademark it.
Moody rule.
Trademark
My
it.
understanding is that we have no speakers that have asked to speak to any of the CMR items.
Correct.
So we don't have to exclude anything from the CMR list.
Yes, sir. And basically, it's 2 motions that's going to happen. You're going to have the one motion to move to change the order of business to consider the city manager's report items and those items that fall under the city manager's report as one vote.
Correct.
So you'll have that motion, you'll get a second, and then your vote. I will read all the items, so be patient with me. And then we will have a second motion, which is to adopt those items. And then we'll get a second and you'll vote and you'll be done with that.
And then we'll move on to the agenda. Is that okay with everyone?
Yes. You all were provided with your boards and commissions information last night. I've given Councilman Hugel the paperwork. He had his, but I gave him another copy. So he'll read those at the appropriate time for you to vote on it for that item.
And the one item that isn't on that list is the Clean Commission Council Liaison assignment, so
Right.
I'll add that at the end.
Yes.
And I assume we don't have to talk SIPSA since that's
No, that letter has
that's
already-
just nominations.
Yes, sir. And that letter
It's
is
already
in the
gone.
mail. You all have a copy of it in your mailbox.
Okay, all right.
Very good. Any other business to conduct? Councilman Hugel?
Yes, Mayor, so I got 3 council liaison reports. First, EDA. So at the most recent EDA meeting, the EDA voted to approve a process to do small business loans in the amount of $10,000 to $50,000 to basically provide a low-interest loan to allow small businesses that need working capital to have access to working capital at below the market rate. So they hired a contractor to oversee that process. They put $250,000 into that process as seed money, and their hope is that as they dole out loans and the loans are repaid, that it becomes a revolving fund that replenishes itself through loan payment process. So that's EDA liaison report. PPIC liaison report. During this past month, the PPIC, several members of PPIC toured the American Cruise Line ship that docks at High Street Landing. We did that. So the chief operating officer of American Cruise Lines actually lives in Old Town. And one of the PPIC members connected with him, made arrangements for us to tour the ship. We were provided a tour by the captain of the vessel on a Saturday afternoon. And we spoke to him about, what's the relationship between American Cruise Lines and Portsmouth. How's that working? What can we do to improve? Are there things that we might be able to do to even perhaps make Portsmouth a initiation point for future cruises? Right now, American Cruise Line stops here, but we're not a starting point for cruises. And so we talked through that, got some ideas from them. Those ideas are going to come from the PPIC, primarily through Director Donahue, into our waterfront development discussions, because the thing that I think that we took away from those discussions is if we were to provide fresh water and sewage connections on the waterfront for the cruise line, that would be shore services that they're not provided in most other locations, and that would cause them to consider bringing their business to Portsmouth. The importance of having us as an initiation point is the folks that go cruising would fly in beforehand, stay in our hotel or hotels, eat in our restaurants until the cruise ship got here. Because what we saw during the cruise, the kind of their mission, the cruise mission, is to provide 5-star accommodations, including meals, on the ship. So when they pull in, they go ashore and enjoy shore excursions, but they don't stay here and they don't eat here because they've already paid for a bed and they've already paid for top-notch meals. And so they tend not to spend money in our hospitality places other than walking tours and whatnot. The other thing that we did was connect feedback from them into our tourism group to see if there are other opportunities for us to provide for local shore excursions so that they don't come to Portsmouth and walk down High Street Landing and get on a bus to go to Norfolk or Williamsburg or who knows where. But we want to find things to do that are going to keep them here.
That's right.
In downtown Portsmouth and enjoy the attributes that we have. Okay, so that's PPIC. Third item, Military Affairs Committee. So at the most recent Military Affairs Committee, we had feedback from all 3 military installations thanking Portsmouth for the provisions that we made during the shutdown to allow their workforce that were not getting paid to defer their utility payments. The CEOs told us, when we told our workforce that if you live in Portsmouth, that Portsmouth is trying to accommodate the fact that you're not getting paid, the feedback they got was, it's great to live in Portsmouth, and all the folks that worked for them that didn't live in Portsmouth were kind of grumping that, how come nobody did that for us? So well done to Mr. Carter and the team for accommodating our government employees that were working without pay. That's it.
Vice Mayor, what do you think, Councilman Dotson?
Actually, my question's to Councilman Hugel. When will the details of the loan program be forthcoming?
They're available now. So I guess we'll maybe ask Economic Development Office to push those out. But access to the loan application process is available now on the city website, according to the brief we got at EDA last week.
We can get you some more information on that. Just put it in a report back.
I would think that would be something that we would want to share with the public, with the business community, other than just putting it on the website.
Yeah, and there was...
I'm sure there'll be a lot of questions and everything from, the selection process, also the how are the loans going to be secured, what have you. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, also coming out of the PPIC meeting for the water and sewer hookup was that economic development was inspired to consider putting more than just one hookup in there. So they're looking into the feasibility of expanding it along our waterfront as we look at our waterfront development to possibly bring more cruise lines in. I'm just glad that economic development was inspired this trip. Whoever arranged it, thank you very much. That was a worthwhile excursion to get us out on that boat to see what's going on, especially to get the city employees there to see what's going on. We also have some interest from the community too, that is expressing an interest in developing excursions. So I want to spread the word out to you guys. If you know anybody that runs a business, one of the ones that inspired me is when I went on some trips to Ireland was making rings, making silver rings, just a way to get off and make your own silver ring. Anything like that that we can advertise to these excursions to build that experience for them that doesn't involve food. If you have some business connections, even I would be appreciative of hearing about it if you can't get the word out there.
Thank you, sir. Couple of things. Anybody else have anything? I did want to add, Councilman Hugel and myself met with the school board chairman and one of the school board members, Ms. Sessoms, just to kind of begin to build a relationship. I think it was ultimately a good meeting. We came away with some takeaways, and so the first takeaway was the mayor and the school board chair will have a monthly roundup to kind of talk about what's happening and share information with both organizations. In addition to that, we talked about perhaps doing a retreat with the school board as well as the council probably in the first quarter, which will enable us to not talk about dollars, but talk about really the relationships and what things we can help them with and how they can help us to tell a message. You know, we hear constantly, we have a messaging problem. Well, if it's a messaging problem with our schools, it's a messaging problem with our city. We're all in this together. So if we're going to change the image and the message, we all need to be talking from the same sheet of music. So we determined that that was important to all of us. So we're going to move in that way. Certainly you'll hear more about the engagement, but it was very positive on both sides. We recognized that we need each other. And we won't be the city we desire to be if we don't work well together on all those fronts. So good stuff. Stay tuned for that. We're working, and I want you all to know that you guys are doing the work. I know that Mr. Carter had a meeting. Remember the new policy we started with the nonprofits in order to apply for funding. Mr. Carter had a meeting. It went extremely well. I can tell you, I stopped in the meeting. It was over at the Children's Museum, probably over 100, close to 100 participants, 50 to 100 in the room. And the feedback that I heard back from those folks, thank you all for providing that kind of information. Much to your point, Vice Mayor, in this rollout of this microloan program, micro-lending I'll call it, program, that's important. The messaging, how we deliver it. And when we do that, we create more advocates, right? Doesn't mean that they're going to get what they think they may get, but they're going to know what they need to know in order to apply. And that makes us all look better. So thank each and every one of you for the work you put in.
I'm also on the retirement, liaison to the retirement. I went, this last meeting, I expressed Mr. Alexander's concern for some of the funding to them, to which they seemed oblivious that there were some concerns on our end, and they were hungry for a little bit more information on what our end was. So I'm trying to provide them with that information.
Good. Councilman.
Yeah, and just one other liaison report, this is from Personnel Committee. So the last time we met to talk about the compliance against our new ordinance, you all asked the Personnel Committee to meet with Commissioner of the Revenue and with City Treasurer. And so the mayor and I had meetings with both of those folks along with the city manager. I'd say both meetings were positive. We talked through the gist of the discussion that we had, and I asked them to work collaboratively with us to work on those compliance issues, and got commitments from both. So I think both of those meetings were positive.
Yeah. Anything else? Well, that being everything, for the good of this meeting, it's adjourned.
Thanks, sir.
We'll see everybody at 7 o'clock p.m.